because less than 3% of you people read books. Listen to me. Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We'll tell you anything you want to hear. We lie like hell. We'll tell you any shit you want to hear. We deal in illusions, man. None of it is true. You're beginning to believe the illusions. This is mass madness, you maniac. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion.
Welcome, IdiotBox Television, episode 188. I'm gonna say life, health, and wealth, but we might not get into it. But it's always about life, health, and wealth.
Yes.
DJ Drumtastic.
Troy Everett.
Thanks for joining in, everybody.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining in. Thanks for joining in, Drummer. Thanks for joining in, Troy. We really appreciate you too.
For joining in, Troy. Thanks for coming, Drummer. Anytime. I'll be here next week too. Same time, same place.
So, we got our little spiel we got to do before we get into some of these topics that we have. I think we got some really important topics that have to deal with what's going on in America, and not only that, but geopolitically. We got to talk about some of this stuff.
There goes Rick.
What's going on, Rick Flo?
What's going on, brother? I see you doing your thing. You pausing a little bit there, sir.
Yeah.
My internet tripping again.
Yeah. My Walmart internet.
What's up, brother? Flo, how you been? Thanks for jumping in. Matter of fact, I did just send it to him. Matter of fact. So anyway, you guys, yes, we're going to do our spew like we always do. We're going to talk about the website, the merchandise, where you can post your goods and services, and alliance entrepreneurs. We got to get people to put their businesses, small, large, whatever. Was in the middle of rehearsal, but wanted to tap in real quick. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Hey, what you rehearsing for? A show? Man, I don't even be on Facebook as much as I used to, and somebody hacked my Instagram page. Does anybody know anything about how to get your Instagram page back? I got a new one, but since the old one got hacked, I don't like Instagram no more. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go through the spew because right now Troy's Walmart internet is messing up. I don't know what's going on right now. Maybe because the freezer section is getting kind of low. His internet gets kind of low. But anyway, I'm going to put up the website. This is where you can go. You can see the show, first of all. You can see the merchandise. You could also enter for the situation that's with the Alliance Entrepreneurs. So what that is www.idiotboxtv.org. Show this Saturday, and EP release party at DBS Sounds. Bro, because I don't drive, I'm missing everything. Do me a favor. You said this Saturday. Try to tag me in something when you're tagging people about the show for Saturday, so I can remember. But that's it right there. That's the web page. Why isn't the show on there right now? Does it need to be refreshed?
Yeah, I got to refresh it. I got all kinds of tabs open. I think that's why it's not working like it's wanted it to. But that's the website.
Yeah, tag me, bro. Thank you. Free for all. There's the merchandise, you guys, right there. The hats. We don't have much of these anymore, right?
What's that?
These hats.
Nope, those are limited edition.
Oh, okay. Yeah, these are limited edition. And remember, you don't have to get the one with the thing in the back. You can get the one that fits. And this one fits perfectly too. Hey, Sean, thanks for joining in. I put the link up for the green room. First of all, come on in on the green room. Talk to us about what we're talking about. You might have something you want to talk about. We can do that too. Doesn't matter. But we're talking about life, health, and wealth. We might not get to that actual topic, but like I said before, it's always about life, health, and wealth. Let's see what else we got here. Where am I at? Okay, so I put up the link for the green room, for the website, and also on the website, idiotboxtv.org. If you click shop, you can get to that merchandise. Like I said, did you already show the merchandise? Yes, you did. So I just repeated it twice. Well, anyway, the merchandise, Troy has on a hat and all that good stuff. For t-shirts and hoodies and other merchandise, go to idiotboxtv.org and click shop. Next thing I'm going is about the Alliance Entrepreneurs. Troy, tell them what's up with that.
So Alliance Entrepreneurs, as Drummer said before, go ahead and get onto the Facebook, show your products and services on there. And if you know somebody who is an entrepreneur or a small business owner, should tag their stuff on there anyways. It doesn't have to be your company. It could be somebody else's. But at Alliance Entrepreneurs, our mission is to empower and uplift entrepreneurs by fostering a collaborative community that provides essential marketing support, networking opportunities, and a platform to showcase their products and services. We are dedicated to helping every entrepreneur unlock their full potential, grow their business, and thrive in an ever-evolving marketplace. Whew. Got through that.
Exactly. Now, the other link that I did put up, that's how you go to post your goods and services onto the Facebook page.
Excuse me.
I put the link up here. Let me do it again just in case you missed it, because I should have said that the first time, but I didn't. There we go. That's where you go to post your goods and service, and you'll see all kind of businesses from here to Nova Scotia on there. Check it out. Now, where we at? We only got to review the link. Goddamn. Well, I guess we're gonna keep chilling. Now, I got something that I did want to show. We might as well get into just a few of the things in the beginning before we get into the main thing. So, I guess I'll go with the tariffs right now. I guess so. Tariffs are hurting Shein and Temu. For people that don't know what Shein or Temu is, it's where you can get everything. All the clothes and shoes and everything you want. Forget going in the mall. Forget doing all that. We don't do that anymore. You can just sit at home, get it sent to yourself. But these terrible tariffs, let's call them that, Joy. The terrible
tariffs
are just tearing stuff up. So I just thought I would show this little video. It's just a small, short little video.
Sales overall in the last couple of weeks, sales growth totally collapsed.
President Trump's trade war, plus the elimination of a tariff loophole on foreign imports under $800, is pummeling Chinese fast fashion giants Shein and Temu. Data analytics firm Consumer Edge is tracking the numbers.
You had Temu rising by 50%, Shein up 30% year over year, and those growth rates have moved, definitively into negative territory. With data through May 11th, we're talking, for Shein greater than 10% declines year over year, and for Temu greater than 20% declines.
So where are those customers spending their money instead?
What our analysis found was consumers that used to shop at Temu and Shein really increased spending at an outsized rate at department stores like Bloomingdale's, Kohl's, Nordstrom Rack. I wouldn't have guessed that these would have popped up, but just given their broad selection, it sort of makes sense that the same type of shopper would be attracted to them. Now, to be clear, it's not as if sales at these department stores overall are surging. Time will tell whether or not the activity of the shoppers becomes widespread enough.
Former Shein and Temu shoppers are also flocking to Old Navy, Savers Value Village, and the subscription service Nuuly.
Old Navy was notable. It's relatively affordable. It appeals to a lot of different age groups, different genders. That kind of jived with what you might think a lapsed Temu and Shein shopper might do. Savers Value Village really made a lot of sense. Resale has been one of the big outperforming categories within apparel, accessories, and footwear. And then interestingly, Nuuly, which is Urban Outfitters, a clothing rental brand, has benefited, perhaps as these shoppers want a really wide-ranging wardrobe but don't want to spend so much money on every single piece.
But overall, consumers remain cautious.
It's not as if the data is pointing to some real strength. It's just sort of a reallocation of spending, and certainly a cautious consumer trying to manage a more stretched wallet.
So there we have it. That means the tariffs are hurting, but they're not telling us that. That's just places where if you don't pay attention to it like I did to find that, you wouldn't even know that. So
yeah, so
their prices.
So they, old used to have it.
Wait, hold on a second. Your internet's doing that again. You're stuck. Wait, let me see if I can get a. Oh wait, you're good. Hey, Christy, how you doing? Thanks for joining in. Yeah, but anyway, the terrible tariffs are hurting Shein and Temu. Basically, if you think about it, they could be out here knowing that when they raise the tariffs, that it hurts people like Amazon, Temu, and Shein, because a lot of people don't go to these department stores. Like he said, what is it doing? It's raising the percentages for the department stores at the mall. Nobody shops at the mall. What do they do? Go buy hats and shoes?
Right.
You're starting to come back a little bit now.
Yeah. I'm deleting some stuff off my computer right now.
So the terrible tariffs are hurting some of everything, but I mean, I think we all know that you go to the store and you get 5 items and it's $50. And it's like you paid $10 an item. Maybe one of them was some chicken that cost $17, but see, look what Christy said. Thanks for joining in, Christy. Look what she said. I'm heartbroken. My Shein cart prices jumped up. So let's say if you got a bunch of stuff that was $20, how much would it be now? Some shirts, some shoes, whatever. Has it went up half to 40, 20 to 40, 25? Because I got a bunch of stuff in my cart. Not in Temu, but in like TikTok. But hey. Okay, you're back now.
Am I? Okay.
What are you trying to say?
Sorry, guys. What I was trying to say is it's hurting the consumers. These tariffs are hurting the consumers. You can get 7 pair of sweatpants, for example, like me. I could get 7 pair of sweatpants. All the sweatpants it cost me $7. Where else can I go to get sweatpants at $7 a piece? I can't. And so what they're saying is that, yeah, some of the consumers have gone back to like Old Navy. I don't shop at Old Navy. None of those stores I shop at.
Nope.
I said Burlington Coat Factory. Well, maybe. Yeah, so they didn't say any of the that I would shop at. And you're seeing a small uptake in consumers going there. It's what they say, 6%, 7%. That's not a lot. So what people are doing is they're guarding their pockets. They're not going to go spend at these American companies because they cost too much.
Ooh, she said I had a dress I was going to order for $24.96, and then April 26th, it jumped to $42. I was pissed. I bet you if you just wait, it's going to go down again, because I see stuff that I put in my cart will be on sale, and I'll go back and look, and it's up $10 or $15, and then I won't get it, and then later on, it'll be back down again to where it was. So they kind of play with the numbers.
Yeah.
Man, they play with the numbers, of course. They're going to try to make more money. Everybody's trying to make more money. Can't be mad at them for that. That's just how it goes. Like this right here, my nice and crispy white t-shirt. This came from Amazon, And it's one of those, it's a t-shirt that never gets bacon neck. It always stays right around here. Perfect. And I get about 6 of them at a time.
Yeah, these tariffs are a joke, man. They really are a joke. They're not gonna help us at all. What it's doing is weakening our economy. It's weakening just about everything. Not only that, relationships with other countries. It's like, why are you doing this to us? What do we do to you? You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
we're getting screwed.
Screwed.
Christy said,
And notice that prices were going up on April 25th due to tariffs. See?
so they did notice them, or notice everybody that the prices are going up.
So they went up about $10, $10 to $20, depending on what you bought.
That's a lot of money.
Heck yeah.
Yep, my hands are in my pocket. I'm not buying anything.
Hey, I got shoes and everything I need.
Yep,
Sure do. The thing I'm buying is food.
that's it.
And paying
That's
the bill.
that's not coming down anytime soon either.
Nope.
Well, I want to talk about the South Africa thing. How many people saw the? Well, first there's two pieces of this. There's one piece that's the.
Oh wait, we gotta go to
Wait,
our
okay, yeah, hit it.
hit it.
One show I like to watch is Abby Phillips, because Abby Phillips brings in all sides, Republicans and Democrats, and they talk about a subject. And what they're talking about here were the white South Africans that were allowed asylum.
I gotta get into her more.
But yeah, that show is great. It comes on every night at 10 o'clock, 10 to 11.
Let's do it.
So I skipped forward a bit. Let me get back. Now listen to the blatant racism again.
Oh, I don't like him.
Oh, I can't stand him in it. This is Scott Jennings. He's a MAGA pundit.
Let's
listen to this.
Ugh.
Based in fact, and it's amazing that this has actually become the foreign policy of the United States based on just straight up. I mean, we have the numbers. It is completely unsubstantiated. I mean, Scott,
you're saying it's not true that some white farmers have been murdered?
No, it's not true that there is a genocide against white.
Okay,
farmers.
whatever you call.
So this is what they're talking about, the genocide, right?
Mm.
He immediately brushes it off and doesn't say genocide. He says, so it's not the truth that white farmers are being murdered, but let's proceed.
Have white farmers been murdered?
Actually, how many
have violence been committed against white farmers?
How many white farmers? Hold on a second. How many white farmers have been murdered?
I don't know. Several. I mean, they asked.
No. How many?
I don't know. Several.
I know why you don't know, because those numbers don't exist broken down by race.
I mean, I wouldn't trust the South
black
African government to tell me. I know that.
How many black farmers have been murdered in South Africa?
Look, you guys are so triggered over 59 people.
No.
Now, see how he's trying to deflect this again? He's trying to deflect it back to the 59 white farmers that came over. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the United States president bashing the president of South Africa, about a genocide that's happening to white farmers, which is not true.
Wait, before you do that, look what Christy said. Gary watches her faithfully every night. He likes because all sides are represented, so you get to hear all sides, good and bad. I'm gonna start watching it.
Yeah, it's a great program. It's a great. I cannot stand Scott Jennings, but it's good to hear his point of view, to see what other people are actually thinking. But let's go ahead and.
After we left 20 million people in the country, I don't know why you're so triggered.
Haven't even brought up the white people that Trump picked out because they were white and told them they could come to the country.
How much racial killing are you going to condone?
There are 19,000 murders in South Africa. 36 were on farms. 7 of the farmers were victims. Okay, this is according to the South African police.
And you think the South African government is a credible source?
The other 29.
Now, do you think that the South African government is a reliable source? Remember that, because I've got something else that's coming up that's really big on this.
Hold on a second. The 29 victims who were included in the farm killings were farm employees who tend to be Black. So the vast majority of people killed on farms in Africa are Black. Where's the concern?
The concern is that there are white farmers who have had violence committed against them, and they're being threatened. They're being threatened every single day. There's 59 people,
hold on a second.
And you're triggered about 59 people, and I don't know why.
I haven't mentioned anything about 59 people.
Stop it for a second because it's pausing.
Okay. So I'll stop it for. Yeah, here we go. It's screwing up again.
Man, he interrupts and he doesn't never answer a question.
No, he doesn't.
And when she has him cornered, he weasels his way out.
Yeah, and he's not even talking about. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. He's not even talking about what they're talking about, which is genocide. Now, genocide, that's a terrible thing. They're worried about, white genocide in South Africa, but they're not worried about Palestinian genocide. Right?
Right. You paused a little bit. You're
damn it, man.
Your net's tripping.
My net is tripping.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and play this and let me know if it
we can hear it, but it's just pausing. We can't hear it.
Okay.
The video's pausing. But go ahead.
Why are you only concerned about white people?
I'm only concerned about this story because these 59 people asked for status. They're getting status, and now everybody's freaking out.
They didn't ask for anything.
There is no evidence that white people have been targeted. Some white people in the larger issue of farmers, in the larger issue of violence, have been part of this violence. But there
why are they trying to get out? Why are they? If there's
Scott, the majority of
have you seen the videos of the people saying "kill the white farmers"?
Afrikaners do not want.
What do you think the phrase "kill the white farmers" means?
Yeah, that's a phrase that the ANC. That was a phrase that was against the anti-apartheid movement. But the ANC, who's ruling the government, the president's government, has disavowed that phrase, has disavowed it in its songs. And there's no evidence that white people are being targeted. And the majority of Afrikaners do not want to leave.
They're not a part of the government, Scott.
So what Scott Jennings is talking about, see, is another thing. There was a group of people that were chanting that, and this was years ago. And they played the video while the South African president was at the White House. But that's not even, they're not part of the government at all. That is a subset of group of people. They weren't part of the government. So they played that, and Scott Jennings brings that up. And again, they try to split the narrative about South Africa. And they do that with a lot of African countries. And I'll get into the reason why South Africa so much now. What they're doing is they're rearing up the narrative for us to argue about the race aspect of it, which has nothing to do with race, nothing at all.
You're taking a fringe movement and you're trying to make it a characteristic.
So it is the height of racism. It is the height of racism to say that white people have to be exempted from all violence in any society, and that is what is being said here. If we cannot say there is no white genocide happening, there is no farm genocide happening, and the argument is some white people have been killed, even though 27,000 murders happened in that country. What are we saying? If anybody of one racial group is murdered, then that constitutes a refugee status for that particular group.
See, now this is very important. Heard what you just said. So if they're being targeted, these white South Africans in the continent of Africa, and that is the case for them to be put over an asylum, what about what's happening in Sudan? Right? The genocide, the true genocide that's happening in Sudan. None of those are coming over. You're not going to get any brown folks coming over to the United States. So get in the middle. Nope.
President
It's the height of
has
racism.
also ended the refugee program.
Yes,
for all other people
with
in
melanin.
actual war.
There is
in
no-
actual war.
Over
No,
50
we're
people.
not.
I don't
I'm not
understand.
triggered.
You want them to stay, and I guess you want them to have violence committed against
Ashley,
them.
go ahead.
The guy is a pompous idiot. See
Why
what,
would you shut other people from coming and only let them come? Come on.
right.
It's obvious.
It is obvious, but yet he keeps saying the word triggered. Like we are triggered by these only 58 people. No, we're triggered by the policies that are going on. If it's good for one, it should be good for another, right? But if you're dark skinned and you're not coming over here, you're not getting asylum. They cut that off. They're not doing that anymore.
They're gonna bring over who they want to bring over when they want to.
Right.
Make you happy?
Go ahead and comment, and then I'll let you.
Violence against all people is wrong,
I agree with you.
including the
I
white
totally
farmers,
agree with
but
you.
also including the black people that live in Africa. There are 1.5 billion people that live in the continent
I
of
don't like
Africa.
Did you hear that? 1.5 billion people living in the continent
Of Africa.
of Africa. The continent, the whole continent, all the different countries in Africa.
So many
There are 1.5 billion people that live in Africa.
Okay.
There are 63 million people that live in South Africa.
Mhm.
There were 59 people that were extracted out of a continent of 1.5 billion people and brought to our country. And what
Okay.
color were those people? White.
So
And where were the other places?
He said so.
Blatant, and right in front of our face. Right in front of our face. This white man is telling this black lady, she's giving you the facts, the numbers out of what's happening in the Sudan, the famine, the war in Sudan, the famine over in
Really need to get out of there.
Yeah, or these people are in danger for their lives from not having food, from famine, and they got rid of U.S. aid, so none of that aid is going over there to help these people, and they're not going to be able to come over here. So she makes a valid point. He just says so.
Places where genocide is happening in the continent, where 1.5
Why are you
billion.
against it?
I'm not
Why are you
against
against
it.
it?
I'm not against it. I want to know.
Look at
No,
it. You're
no. I want you to have a
59
complete.
people.
No, I want you to have. I can have a complete thought. I want you to have a complete thought.
My thought
You are
these
okay.
people are under threat, and,
Well,
now
are you?
and you're
Can you
enraged.
say?
They're not
Can
still
you
under
say
threat.
that? Can you say that in addition to the 7 potential white farmers that were murdered, the 18,982,000 black folks that were murdered in the country, that's a problem too?
Yes, all violence is a problem.
Yes, and maybe
But
perhaps
the
they should
government's
have a.
policies are targeting these particular people with land
no,
confiscation, and they're being
that's
targeted.
incorrect.
Hold
That's
on,
incorrect.
Scott.
No
How so?
farms
How
taken
so?
from any white people yet.
How
But
so?
the laws, do the laws
There
not
is a
allow?
law, but it hasn't been.
There is a law, but
No, but
they're
it hasn't.
being targeted.
Kind of like the
People-
Constitution.
Hold on,
attacking
guys.
them.
I think
They're
that this
threatening
them.
a lot is being said right now.
I'm stuttering again. All right. That's a great debate.
Nothing but white people. That's all he cares about. This lady here, she's at least trying to, you know what I'm saying? She's leaning toward she's saying the same thing that everybody else is saying. This is not right. And he's just like, I don't care if 65 people that are white and those 100,000 of black people been murdered. Why can't black people get out of there just as
Right.
fast and easy?
And she brings up a valid point. I'm stuck. and she's a valid point.
Hold that screen down and it might.
Right.
Now you said what?
I said she brings up a valid point. I'm still screwing up here.
Yeah.
Let me try something. Go ahead and talk.
I haven't really looked too much into that because that's just to me, that is just like, there's nothing we can do about it. And the reason why, because enough of us don't care. Enough of us just do not care. This is the episode your dad should have come on for. They just don't care.
Yeah.
And they showed something today about the South African or the African president is supposed to have went off on Trump and told him that you can't remember. Did you see that? I sent it to you.
Yeah.
You can't tell us what to do. Was that
No,
true?
no, that was Ibrahim Traore. He's from a different country. So the South African president, while he was in the White House, was basically laughing at the stuff that Trump was saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it wasn't true. And Trump was bringing in, we've got thousands of reports. And he's like, okay. I mean, he was very cordial, and everything he was saying were lies. I'm not saying that there's white South Africans that haven't been killed by black South Africans. It happens here.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, and I want everybody to understand this. We, as the African diaspora, black people, we've been disconnected from Africa, and what we hear from Africa is not much. The real reason we're hearing this rhetoric is because of something Drummer and I have told you guys about 2 years ago. It's called BRICS.
Yeah.
BRICS. And I'm going to play a short video about what BRICS is. It's 2 minutes long. Hopefully my internet will.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got good service. Go.
Yeah.
BRICS, BRICCS, right?
Makes up more than 40% of the world's population and a quarter of the global economy. And more countries want to join the club, which aims to challenge a world order seen to be dominated by the US and its Western allies. But what exactly is BRICS? Who wants in? And why? Underscoring the growth potential of Brazil, Russia, India, and China, a chief economist at Goldman Sachs came up with the BRIC acronym in 2001. The group was founded as an informal club in 2009. Its creation initiated by Russia. South Africa joined the following year. It's the
Who?
South Africa.
Smallest member in terms of economic clout and population. BRICS is not a formal multilateral organization like the UN or World Bank. Its leaders usually get together annually, with each nation rotating through a one-year chairmanship of the group. The bloc operates by consensus. Apart from geopolitics, the group's focus includes economic cooperation and increasing multilateral trade and development. And that's attracting others. This year's chair, South Africa, says over 40 countries have expressed interest in joining.
40 countries. 40 countries. The countries they have right now make up almost 30, I think they said 36% of the world's GDP. What does that mean for us? That means if BRICS has its own currency, the dollar is not going to be worth shit. You won't be able to buy anything with the dollar. That's why South Africa is on the hit list. Not because of these white farmers or what's happening there politically. It's because they're becoming a global economic powerhouse.
Iran has said it hopes the club...
What'd you say, Drummer?
Not going to need the U.S.
Not going to need
will
the U.S.
pin down the new membership process as soon as possible. Oil heavyweight Saudi Arabia has the backing of Russia and Brazil. And Argentina says it has China's support. One of Africa's fastest growing economies, Ethiopia, says it's asked to join. Bolivia appears interested too. In July, the country turned to the Chinese yuan, saying it wanted to curb dependence on the US dollar for foreign trade. That move aligns with BRICS' stated aim. The same month, Algeria said it applied for membership and to become a shareholder.
This is very important, ladies and gentlemen. This is very, very important. Geopolitics, things are swaying. And this is another reason why you see these stupid tariffs. Is he's trying to grasp power, but what he's doing, he's pissing these people off, these other countries. There is another alternative to the US dollar. And if these people in these countries turn to BRICS, again,
you stopped.
Yeah.
You got stopped. You said again, and then that was it. Okay, you're good now.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, you're good now. You said again.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that what's happening is if this is not going to be corrected, and I don't think it's going to get corrected, so everybody needs to prepare. What's happening is he's pissing off all these other countries. There's going to be another alternative. BRICS is going to be another currency, whether it's the yuan, the Chinese yuan, or the ruble. People are going to, and your dollar is not going to be worth anything. If any of you travel outside of the States or go to Jamaica or go to Mexico and you give them $1 and you get like 20,000 pesos, right? So that $1 is worth 20,000 pesos. Imagine going there and your dollar is not worth 1 peso. Going to other countries and your dollar is not
even going to take our money.
They won't even take our money. So that's what's happening. They're crashing the dollar. And what Trump is doing by these tariffs and pissing off our allies is helping them out. South Africa, again, one of the fastest growing economies in the world, is aligning with China and Russia. Not only that, our allies, Saudi Arabia, is also in the mix. Yeah. The Saudis, and he had a whole trip over there to the Middle East, right? Talk with the Saudi prince. So many billions of dollars invested into the United States, supposedly. We haven't seen anything on paper, but the Saudis hate us. They cannot stand us. When we had 9/11, those people that hijacked the planes were Saudis. Osama bin Laden was a Saudi. So there's a lot of geopolitical change that's coming about that you need to prepare for. We've been saying this for a while, Drummer and I. We hope it doesn't fall on deaf ears, but we told you about BRICS a while ago. Matter of fact, if you go back to the YouTube, you can go ahead and look at the whole episode that we talked about BRICS. So I kind of wanted to share that, and again, the Mother Africa is waking up, and we are disconnected, and that's done purposely.
Yeah,
I believe that is done purposely. What do you think, Drummer?
Oh, I believe it is too. That's why we're getting hit with all this stuff to distract us. That Dump is doing the little stuff. It's taking away different things. His cultural overhaul of that throttles local arts and humanities programs at the Museum of African American History. That stuff like that, while we're arguing over this and that and worried about Diddy, because that's probably the number one, that and Tory Lanez now are the two number one things that is a distraction for Black folks, why Trump is taking away the different things. Kids can't get taught African American studies anymore in school now.
And there's a reason for that. And Drummer's got it on you. You had a short video for this, right?
I sure do. Change the hold on. Change the you are. Let me read a little bit of this. For 60 years, Boston's Museum of African American History has transported people to the past, letting visitors to a 200-year-old meeting house see where abolitionists like Frederick Douglass spoke and walked through halls where young Black soldiers once rallied to fight in the Civil War. But recently, the museum's history programs for school children were put at risk after the Trump administration canceled its federal grant, saying in a letter that the funding no longer serves the interests of the United States. I will forever remember that line. The museum director, Dr. Noel Trent, told CNN, "We really very much embedded into key moments of this country's history. How is that not of interest of the United States and the American people?" So, a little bit of...
Yeah, again, why do you think we're... Okay, go ahead. You got a video?
Yeah, I got it. Hold on. I was trying to... Oh, shoot. I got to bring it up first before I... Yeah, I want to...
Why are you bringing that up? Why do you think there's a huge disconnect with the African American community? Why do you think that we're, like Ice Cube said, America's most wanted? and it's because of the connection we have with Africa. Go ahead, play it.
You ready?
Yep.
For more than 6 decades, Boston's Museum of African American History has been a connection to the past, inspiring students like 7th grader Excel Alabi.
I realized that so many people have fought for us, fought for our freedom.
The museum is a 200-year-old African meeting house where former slaves and abolitionists like Frederick Douglass once spoke.
I feel it, seeing it in person, better than seeing it on screen or on a paper.
You get to touch history and engage with history.
But school programs like this one may themselves soon be history after the Trump administration sent the museum's CEO a letter saying its grant, quote, no longer serves the interests of the United States.
I will forever remember that line. How is the fight against slavery a conflict that literally affected everything from the writing of the Declaration to the Constitution, through the Civil War that literally divided the country, and us not offering a perspective on that story, not in the interest of the United States.
In April, the museum's $500,000 grant from the federal government was abruptly canceled, money which was supposed to be used for school field trips and educational programs. And it didn't end there. Corporate support started drying up after Trump took office, which the museum blames on anti-DEI sentiment.
When you received that letter, what was your reaction?
I was really shocked.
This museum is not alone. The administration has proposed eliminating the agencies that dole out the grants, the National Endowments of the Arts and Humanities. And in the last 2 months, the White House has pulled tens of millions of dollars in funding from cultural groups across the country, affecting a music program for young children in Nebraska, a young readers program in South Dakota, and the National History Day competition, valuable programs for kids, now with cutbacks or even closure.
The Department of Government Efficiency canceled these grants, not the NEH staff. Nobody was involved who actually knew what they were talking about.
These changes are an effort by Trump to exert more control over the nation's cultural fabric.
We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history,
and drastically shrink the size of the federal government. Many conservatives have long advocated such cuts, arguing arts and humanities programs are a waste of taxpayer money.
Why should taxpayers still be on the hook for this?
It's a joint investment in our community. Your taxpayer dollars don't always go just to what you can immediately put your hands on, but it also goes into the things that affect your daily lives in sort of very subtle ways.
It would be a tremendous loss for our students because a lot of our students wouldn't experience this in any other way.
Including Excel Alabi, who says she learned something about the Civil War she never learned in school.
Teenagers were going to war just to fight for rights because their families were slaves. That really stuck to me.
So you made a direct connection.
Yeah.
Teenagers of your age.
Yes. I think that was really amazing. High schoolers going to war just to fight for rights.
And they want to get rid of stuff.
Yeah, they definitely want to get rid of it. They don't care about that. This country has never cared about that. And like I said, that's why they have African American in front of us. We're not Americans, we're African Americans.
Yeah.
Or Chinese American, Hispanic Americans. See, but white people are what? Americans. So there's always been a divide when it comes culturally, and what they're doing is they want to eliminate those who built this country, who created the wealth for this country, were the African Americans and other immigrants that came to this country. And another thing that I'm scared of, because of our connection, people need to look up this guy. His name is Ibrahim Toure.
Spell it. Put it in the comments because I don't know how to spell it.
Ibrahim Toure. I want to play this quick video. This is what the West is absolutely afraid of. And I'll put his name in here real quick. Ibrahim Toure. I want everybody to listen to this real quick.
promised to be interesting. So fasten your seatbelt so you don't miss out, because the West is about to get roasted. Captain Ibrahim Traore is a man of few words, but when he talks, everyone listens. Well, remember Michael Langley, the US commander to Africa? Remember he leveled some unfounded allegations against the Captain Ibrahim Traore government? Captain Ibrahim Traore government responded, but this time around, Captain Ibrahim Traore himself has responded. Let's watch the video.
As for those remarks, as you mentioned, we have protested through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That's one thing, but I don't know what happened with this general. There is still a problem, and I would perhaps like him to make a mea culpa if he was sent, and to understand that this is not the right mission. If he was misled, well, he should say so publicly before the Senate that he was mistaken, or if it was ill-intentioned, well, we will confront him as necessary, because everything he said is a lie. First, he talked about Burkina's gold, which is supposedly what we know, what we use to protect ourselves and all that. First of all, it's Burkina's gold, it's not his gold. That's the first thing. What business is it of his? It's none of his business. It's Burkina's gold. It doesn't concern him. Secondly, he's lying, because Burkina never had any gold reserves until we came along. We are the ones who started setting us in the treasury of Burkina. Otherwise, there was a single gram of gold reserves. That means he's lying again. Another thing, when he says we need to protect ourselves and all that, we're free to do so. If the people have decided that we should govern,
it's breaking up again.
Protect ourselves.
Well, let me just summarize.
Well, I'll stop that right now. Everybody need to go check this guy out, man. He is what the West truly fears, and what he's doing for his country is amazing. He's completely not rid of country's debt. He's not debt to the country.
You're breaking all that. Oh, you hear you, but it's work. That's how you sound.
Oh, terrible.
So yes, this whole big shift, this stuff with Africa, this is just another way. Trump is trying to find some way to steal something, and he's tried with the pan. What was it? He done tried everything so far. You think about how many different things he tried to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico. Just all this little stuff that he's trying to do that's not going to work. He's just going to keep trying it until somebody lets him. He's about to get this free plane. Well, the plane's not free. We're going to be paying for that plane. And then when he's not president anymore, he's going to be able to take that plane with him, because he can't put it in as one of the Air Force Ones, because it only comes with 2 Air Force Ones. Can't add one. So Trump is steady playing games with us. I don't even watch it anymore, because it's a shit show. It's sad. Nobody's paying attention to nothing he's doing, especially black folks. We're arguing over what Diddy did. I could care less what Diddy did. He's going to get what they're going to give him, whether we care or not. He's going to get a jury of not his peers. We know that. So it is what it is. Hey, he's back. There you go. Say something. There you go.
Yeah, it's
Go ahead.
I just think we need to have a deeper dialogue about what's happening in the United States when it comes to the propaganda that's being used against the American people. And not really seeing the larger picture of things. Now, there's another thing about South Africa is they don't use Elon Musk's Starlink, right? They have Elon has all the perpetraries. In other words, he gets all of the money. He gets all the money from that, and he doesn't share it with anybody else. So he gets these government contracts, and he gets a lot of money, right? they didn't want to pay the money that he wanted to pay. They didn't want to pay the money that he was asking for Starlink. So Starlink is not even in his own country. So there's another reason why he was there in that meeting, is because he can't stand the South African government. He's a young black man that is president. Russia told the United States that anything happens to him, then Russia will have to deal with them. Yeah. He's got a lot of allies. Ibrahim Traoré. So he went to Russia, and Russia offered him money. Russia says, I don't want money. I want knowledge for my people. In other words, how to build dams, how to help out with the infrastructure. We want knowledge. We want schools. We want to build schools, engineering schools. That's what he wants. He doesn't want any money. He said, we'll pay for our own. He's also passed a law where every farmer gets free tractors in the country.
Oh, dang.
So, yep, all the farmers, to help with agriculture, get free tractors. So they've given out free tractors in the country to the farmers. Not only that, but they also have a supply of what do you call it? What is manure? Manure is
cow shit.
Yeah, it's cow shit, but it's used for fertilizer.
Oh.
So all the farmers have access to free fertilizer to fertilize their crops. So he's doing amazing things for his country. And when the West sees that they can't budge somebody or they can't bully somebody, they're a problem. And the big bad wolf, which is the United States, is losing a lot of wind when it comes to...
Lost a lot of wind.
Yeah, lost a lot of wind. And with this president coming in, he just set us back. He just expedited
100 years.
Yeah. So
he's trying to take us back that far by taking all our rights away, making us so we'll go out here and try to protest, and then martial law, so they come and just pew us, and then we're out of here. So now, if we know it's martial law and we don't even come out, that's another way they can control it. So either way it goes, if we go out, we're hit. If we don't, we're hit. So we better do this instead of doing this.
Yeah. I think we all need to come together and really look what the they call it legacy media is pushing out there. I do like Abby Phillips. I like to hear every aspect of what people are saying. But again, what they're talking about when it comes to this certain thing is not it's just a small, minute piece of a bigger pie. That if you talk about the BRICS, and here we go again, South Africa being part of BRICS, the reason why they're getting bullied by the United States.
Or they're trying to bully them. They got to find somebody they can try to bully. But you know what? At the end of the day, who really knows what weapons who have? Like, you could tell the police, yeah, I got 2 pistols, this and that, but that doesn't mean you actually have that. You think the U.S. is being honest with the weapons they have? Why they can just talk and say, we got what does Trump say? Our military is the biggest, it's bigly, whatever. How do we know they're telling the truth about what they have? We don't.
I think when it comes to military equipment, yeah, we have the military equipment.
But how do we know what Africa?
Because we sell it to everybody else. Because everybody buys our military equipment.
But just like this, if Africa can have their billions of people and their economies booming, and China can do all that, then they can have the same type of weapons or better than we can.
Yeah, but they're not buying weapons from us. They're getting hand-me-downs from Russia. So it's not like they got the top of the line stuff. Why do you think little ass Israel, nobody's touched them?
Well,
Israel's gone. Yeah, they've got our weapons. Why do you think they can fight off all of those Arab states? Why does nobody really mess with Israel? It's because they have our weapons. We supply them with our top of the line weapons. Yeah, the young president has opened doors for Black Americans to come home. Yeah, that's a whole nother show. There's a lot of people that are
going to Africa. They're going to visit, first of all. Yep. They see what's going on, and then they say, I know somebody who's moving there.
Yeah.
In the next year. Said they went there, and it was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, you got people moving to Ghana.
Police are out there with sticks. They don't have guns. They don't have any of that. They don't have crime like that. Everybody, there's like not really poor like they make you think it is.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of the country is under famine and stuff like that, but the developed parts of those countries, like South Africa, you got Ghana, Nigeria. They got cities like Atlanta and New York. I mean, they have major cities.
Mm-hmm. Major cities with big buildings and big money.
Yeah.
No crime, and people are happy. And when she was describing how Africa was, I was just sitting there like, she had pictures. I was like, hey, that's right on there. Hey, that's right on there on my daily events. You was on there today. I saw you laughing.
Uh-huh. And another thing is, even the book that we read about Louise Little, right?
Louise Little, yeah.
What was she doing? She was working for Marcus Garvey. Yeah. And they were trying to get people to go back to Africa, right? Pan-Africanism. And that was way back in the early 1900s.
20s,
right?
Yeah, 1900, 1913, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that.
And so this movement has not just been here, but it's been subverted to be put underground because they do not want a connection between the African Americans and Africa. They don't want that connection. Could you imagine the resources that we could get from Africa to help us here? They don't want that connection. They want the Africans and the African Americans to be feuding.
They do. They really, really do.
It's just we've got to be careful. We're probably gonna have ICE knocking at the door.
Time flew.
Sure did.
Well, you guys, once again, this was episode 188. It was supposed to be about life, health, and wealth, but we had other stuff to talk about. But like I said 2 times, I'm gonna say it 3 times. It's always about life, health, and wealth. So we'll see you next week. Episode 189. Do we know what it is? No, but it's going to be a surprise for us, just like it will be for y'all. So we'll see you next week. Have a good night. Peace and hair grease.
We're in a lot of trouble because less than 3% of you people read books. Listen to me. Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We'll tell you anything you want to hear. We lie like hell. We'll tell you any shit you want to hear. We deal in illusions, man. None of it is true. You're beginning to believe the illusions. This is mass madness, you maniacs. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion.